What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the PCA Expo 2023 Game Plan Part 2. Super excited for this. This is the second part of a two-part series about how to craft the ultimate game plan for your painting company to make sure that this Expo experience is the most impactful for your company and your life possible. We have Maggie Kuiper of Harpeth Painting. She is the co-chair of the Expo Educational Committee. She was on episode 1. She is rejoining us. Maggie, thank you for being here again. It was I put her through the ringer the first time. She came back for a second time. So Maggie is an all-star. We have Juan Vasquez. Juan is a killer. Illusions painting, absolute rock star. Many of you know who he is. He's become a very big advocate for the PCA, for the Hispanic community, and bringing in a lot of people, educating a lot of people who didn't really feel like they belonged before, didn't really understand it well enough. He's exposing and really spreading the message and the word out there. We have Chris Elliott. Chris is the chair of the PCA Marketing Committee. So you can pretty much blame him if you have anything that you don't like. Him and or Maggie. Although there is this other co-chair of the Expo Educational Committee, which I still don't know who that is. So I just blame everything on that person. But Chris runs On It Painting. And then we have Haley. Haley runs marketing actually at the PCA. So she is running the behind the scenes at the actual PCA doing their marketing. So we have an all-star group here for this second episode of the two-part series. And again, the first episode was what is Expo, going through it, how to register, the hotels, a lot of the more generic stuff. This second one is going to be a much deeper dive into the actual sessions at this year's event. What does it mean? And if there are 3 sessions at once, how do you actually choose between competing alternatives? So Maggie, I'm going to let you kind of kick us off in general. I know this idea of theme by day wasn't necessarily something that was done at every single expo, so I'd love to start there.
Well, we wanted to theme it really fun, like On It Painting does at their shows, but Jason wouldn't let us. So we had to stick with
Jason, right?
I know. He's no fun.
Why do we talk to that guy?
It's like he does things for our industry. It's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was going to lean into Chris Elliott and their cool costumes, but instead we went with like more of a, I don't know, like an education pedagogical technique. Because the big feedback that everyone gave was that they always felt like they left Expo like they were drinking from a fire hose.
Right.
And you would go to these classes and then go to the next class and go to the next class, and it was just you were getting pummeled left and right with information, which is amazing and awesome, but also sometimes hard to stomach. So Morgan, my fellow co-chair.
Is it Morgan? Oh my goodness. I've rained down a hellstorm on Morgan so far. You should have never told me. It was easier when I just didn't know.
So she and I thought, if we at least try to wrap some general themes around each day, the participants who felt like they were drinking from a fire hose, at least day 1, you're drinking from the marketing fire hose.
Yeah.
Okay. So a few tweaks in the schedule happened due to travel issues for some of our speakers, but 95% are on theme. So day 1 has an emphasis on marketing. All the speakers kind of lean into how to bring in leads, how to get jobs, how to brand your business, kind of the nuts and bolts of getting work. Day 2, we thought it's a half day. We've got the awesome Expo exhibitor stuff in the afternoon. So we do a little bit lighter and kind of dig into leadership and the role of the business owner or the role of people within the company. And then the last day, when everybody's really tired after the evening parties.
Brain is like, woo.
Yeah, we're all exhausted and we had too much food and too much fun.
That's it. Yeah, not too much.
Friday is about operations, so the nuts and bolts. So, the marketing helped you get in leads or get in new recruits. You kind of reflect a little bit on yourself as the leader Thursday. And then Friday is more about, all right, what are we going to implement? What are the nuts and bolts to get production and just to get our systems ironed out?
Man, that's great. And did we work? It wasn't structured like this last year, right? This theme? No. Okay.
I don't think it's ever been structured like that, right?
My understanding, we haven't done this before, but that's only if you like it. If you don't like it, then it was done this way like 15 years ago, and it's their fault.
It's funny. It's good. It's good actually that we are doing this because so we sat down with we're bringing a couple guys, from our team. This is the first time that we're actually taking 3 of our guys. So it's actually really great because they're like, okay, what are we supposed to do? So now we're able to tell them, okay, this is what you're expecting. So I think that's awesome.
Good.
That is awesome. Structured. It'll be structured drinking from a fire hose.
Yeah. Right. There you go.
It will actually help contain it a lot, because then if you go, if it's all marketing, and let's say there's a social media session on breakout session, you feel just incredibly overwhelmed with all the different options. What should you be doing them all? Should you be trying to dominate one platform? We can go to that. And then there's something else, let's say is on email marketing. That'll be kind of an easier call. Whereas if you're having to choose between, let's say, social media management, and you feel really overwhelmed there, but then there's also some sort of thing about leadership at the same time, it's a tougher, I think it's going to be easier to make those judgment calls about what to pass on and what to go to when it's in the same theme generally.
Yeah. And the team did a really good job of really trying to diversify within that. So within marketing, the topics range really extensively. So it's not just your typical marketing ideas and your typical operations idea. So thankfully, there will be you can really lean into your needs specifically.
Yeah. So that will be a big part of what we're going to talk about today, is actually kind of diving in day by day, the sessions. We're going to include a link for everyone who's watching, so you can actually go on, check it out, check out the names of all the breakout sessions, check out the topics of all the brain melds. But before we dive into that, we did want to plug the Paint It Forward. So Haley, Maggie, Chris, I'm going to let one of you guys, whoever wants to sort of take the lead, plug in what's happening here with this Paint It Forward event.
Yeah, I can do that. So new this year at Expo, we're doing a Paint It Forward event, partnering with the city of Albuquerque. So PCA will be painting the interior of the Gibson Medical Hub, which used to be an old hospital, right, but kind of deteriorated over time. So now it's being revamped into this like medical center, a hub for people who are experiencing homelessness.
That's pretty cool.
How many people do we have registered for that?
I want to say the latest is about 75 that I heard, but we're hoping to reach over 100. So if you haven't had a chance to register for Expo yet, then when you register, you can check a box to Paint It Forward. If you already registered and you still want to participate in Paint It Forward, then you can just shoot us an email at support@pcapainted.com.
support@pcapainted.com. Juan, are you guys going to that Paint It Forward?
Yes, we are. So I was just listening to the first game plan one, right? And we're thinking about like, okay, what are we gonna wear? Do we go dressed as painters, or do we go dressed as ourselves?
I've been wondering about that.
Chris Elliott, what are you wearing?
Yeah, Chris, what are you wearing?
This is casuals.
Yeah. So no overalls, not like that.
I'll wear a white quarter zip.
Okay. All right. That's what that's our discussion right now.
Fresh to that white quarter zip.
I would say if you plan to paint, then show up dressed like a painter. But if not, then the white shirt could be a souvenir. You get some paint on it and wear it later.
Oh, okay. So you said white shirt. So do we get a white shirt from the event?
Not that I know of.
Okay. I was just saying, just asking.
So Haley, I know we might not be doing this. Are we doing the mini social media kit?
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Yep. So we have a small package of graphics and a web badge that will go out to everybody who registers for Paint It Forward at Expo. Then you'll receive it so that you can promote it on your social media pages, let everybody know what you're doing for the community, and you can put it on your website as well.
It's awesome. So yeah, if you're approaching it, and it's a sacrifice, it's a time sacrifice, it's a financial sacrifice to fly across the country, leave your painting company. If you're bringing members of your crew, obviously that amplifies that sacrifice. And then coming a day early adds something to it, right? Logistically, you're gone for longer. So it's obviously a good cause. It's going to be a great sense of community. Everyone's going to kind of think about it almost like a networking session, I guess, mingling with everyone the day before the event officially starts. But you're also going to get this really awesome social media kit to broadcast what your painting company is doing. So the philanthropic side of your business, you can promote it in your local community. PCA is going to provide you these graphics. You can easily customize, put your logo on them, and then push them out. You could even push them to local news stations, put them on your website, put on your social media, and people can see that you're giving back and you're contributing to resources. Obviously, that can help business growth as well. So
Awesome.
Good plans.
Haley, if someone's arriving later on Tuesday, would the best approach to participate just to email the support at pcapainted.org?
Yeah, I think that's fine. And we can make like special arrangements on a case-by-case basis. We can definitely release like the address. As long as they get on that list, then they'll receive all the email communications about where to go, when to show up, how like transportation is being organized like that.
Nice.
Perfect.
Loosely, what are the event times for the
Yeah, I
Hey.
believe that shuttles are starting in the morning, either at 7 or 7:30, but please don't quote me on that. It's still being finalized. And then I'm not sure what the official kickoff time is going to be. It really depends on how many total registrants we have, and then what time transportation can begin, and what time can we get everybody, from the various hotel sites to the Paint It Forward event.
nice?
And I'm assuming all like our prepping material and stuff will be provided there, right? I don't have to carry my roller and my putty knife and that stuff, right?
So all the logistical details are going to be released. I don't have any information on that, but I know that it's all in the works. So
Okay.
I hesitate to give you like any advice in that regard right now. Sorry.
Oh, and that's just for me, What do I bring?
Yeah, no, I wish that I could. But
Oh, that's good.
as soon as it's mapped out, as long as you're on the email list, then you'll receive all of that information.
Awesome.
Juan, don't you always travel with a putty knife?
I used to. I should.
Before Expo 2018, he used to always
Yeah,
have it.
a 5-in-1. That's like
A
a
5-in-1,
putty knife.
exactly.
Yeah.
We got it.
So you guys, if you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, you can provide, you can give StreamYard ability to access your name, because right now we just see Facebook users, but it does make it kind of more entertaining to me that someone's going to follow Chris Elliott around fixing all of his painting mistakes. That's Chris Elliott acknowledges he's not a painter, so that you should have your hands full probably on that one.
I'm gonna do my best.
Yeah,
He's going to be directing the orchestra.
There
not
it
playing
is.
the orchestra, right?
I like that.
Right?
Use your gifts and talents.
Yeah, right.
Go ahead.
Isn't your talk about right person, right seat? I mean, that's basically
There
lead
you
by
go.
example, right?
Right. That's right.
Yep.
So let's talk about the app,
Yes,
the
ma'am.
Expo app, and how that can be used to enhance the experience.
Yeah, so the Expo app, you can download it either on the App Store or Google Play by searching PCA Expo. So it's going to let you go in to map out like your own education experience. So when talking about like the competing sessions, like there are a couple at the same time, and maybe you're not sure which one you want to go to, then you can map out your personal journey through Expo and make a plan in that regard. There'll be a game too this year. So the Expo game is coming back, and the grand prize will be a free all access pass to Expo 2024.
Oh, that's a nice prize.
Cool.
Nice.
What is the game like?
So the game is there's two components of it. We're going to have a daily riddle, but that is for like gift cards and not connected to the grand prize of the all access pass to Expo. But the regular, like they call it gamification, is like a series of trivia questions. So some will be about Expo this year. Some are historical questions, and some are like general like PCA questions.
This gamification, is this some sort of fancy marketing term that you're doing here?
I think it's been in play long before I was here. Yes, but that's what it's called.
Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, the Expo app will be awesome, super helpful, help you chart the course here. I do want to plug something that I think I think is the first time that that's ever happening at Expo this year, is that all of the breakout sessions are being recorded. So every single breakout session is being recorded. And if you come, you still have to choose. If there are 3 at the same time, you can't sit in 3 rooms unless you have clones. I want to, but you can't sit in all 3 rooms at the same time. So you have to choose, but then you'll actually get the recording of the ones that you missed if you come. So that's going to be available to all the attendees. Haley, is that accurate?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's pretty huge.
That is
There's still a trade-off because you can't ask the questions. You can't be there live. So you still have to decide which one is the most valuable. But the fact that you basically get like 200% more content now because you can take the rest of the breakout sessions with you. And there's usually 3 at the same time, I believe. Well, that's cool. So that is a first.
That's going to be great because then we don't have to be with our phone, right? Because I remember recording the parts with
Were
my
you?
phone, coming back to my phone.
Even the one you went to, you were recording it because
right? Hey, I can't ride, so I have to record it so I can see it again.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's huge. So then if you think about it, you're drinking from this fire hose, but yet you were actually only consuming about 1/3 of the content. So you were overwhelmed with 1/3 of it. Well, now that 1/3 that you consumed, you're actually going to be able to take home and consume it again. So you can kind of work through it at your pace over the following 3, 6, 12 months. And you can also actually capitalize on the other sessions that you missed. So you'll get a lot more content, but it will be more easily digestible because you can consume it at your own pace and your own time. So that's really exciting for this year. And then I want to touch on, again, maybe Haley, maybe Maggie, I don't know who wants to take this, but this Fix My Business panel, I think is a really cool thing. Who wants to take that?
I will. Yeah, this is something we're super excited for. And the ability to sign up to put your name in the hat is still going on. But we're going to have 2 different Fix My Business panels, one focused on residential and one focused on commercial. And we have a panel of experts within that realm that are going to sit, and a contractor is going to be able to offer struggles in their business, questions that they have. And it's basically an opportunity for a coaching session from these experts. So on the commercial, and we'll have more than one contractor. So the contractor will get about 15, 20 minutes of undivided time with those experts, and then we'll move on to the next one. The commercial panel is going to be led by Breakthrough Academy and has Gina Coert, Calvin Pate, and Bill Curtindale, all just huge hitters in the commercial industry. And the best guy on that panel is Matt Kuiper from Harpeth Painting. The residential.
And that's a totally unbiased. That's a 100% unbiased opinion.
Notice I didn't list him as a heavy hitter. I said
he's the best guy. He might not be the heaviest of hitters, but he is a great guy. He is a great guy.
Best haircut as well.
You'll see it on a few other guys at Expo. It's crazy.
He's a handsome devil.
He is.
And then on the residential focused panel, we have Andrew Dwyer from APC Magazine as the moderator. Suhaiba Neal, Ryan Davis, Ty Anderson, and Jeff Raleigh are all on the panel. So that one is a heavy group of coaches and thought leaders in the service industry. Super excited. That's a no-brainer to me. If I wasn't in charge of this, I would sign up my company in a heartbeat to sit on one of these panels and just get focused, individualized help for your company.
That's great.
So is this like someone said fills out Speedos like no other? Wonder who they're talking about there. So is this
Jason Paris? That's who they're talking about.
That's who. Yeah, Jason Paris. Is this basically the contractor that they're working with is essentially going to go onto the stage and talk about their business, and then this is almost like, I guess, the opposite of being roasted. It's like, hey, this is what's screwed up with your business. Roast, but we're going to help you fix it. Unroast.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I love it.
Roast is the wrong term because it's going to be nothing
Don't
but
be scared.
encouraging and helpful. Yes.
Yeah. Supportive and helpful. And there will be, is this an hour? Is it 2 hours? How many companies are going to go through this?
We're hoping we can fit in 3 on each one. So they'll get about a 15, 20 minutes of undivided attention, which is a lot of time.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And it'll be a room of probably like 100 people or something.
Yeah. And we all know, well, I'm the youngest in my family, and I always thought learning was easier by watching my brother and what he did right and wrong. And then I'd either mimic or not. Right. So it's going to be a huge benefit to the audience as well, because, you know, you're going to get to hear someone with a similar struggle or a different angle to a struggle, or they're having a struggle that you haven't even experienced that's in your future. So to get to learn from other people as they share their vulnerabilities and their journeys is just going to be super cool.
How can people apply for that to be one of those companies?
Haley, I don't know if you know the answer. There was an email that went out, but I don't know anything beyond that.
Yeah. So I just sent a message like here in the chat, but there's a Google form that is on our Facebook page attached to the Fix My Business graphics. So just fill out the Google form and you'll be in the running. So we'll be contacting everyone. If you apply, you should hear from us. And also, if you do happen to apply, make sure that you attend the panel as well. Or let us know, that you don't want to be considered anymore, something like that.
So don't boycott it if you don't get selected. You should still go. Okay, cool. Is this the first time that this is happening? Has this been done before?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think this is a first.
I love this.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen this one. I mean, I've been for a few, but I haven't seen this.
It'll be super fun. Very interactive.
Yeah, fixing it, seeing things in real time, kind of how the sausage is made. We always get the before and the after. You know, like, oh, my business is so great. I used to be doing this. But we can actually see. I mean, wouldn't that be neat if there were a company up there and let's say they're at like 750,000 or 500,000, and then they go through this stuff, they come back and they're like 2 million next year. That would be awesome.
Yeah. So it's gonna happen. Watch.
It'll happen for at least one.
It does happen.
It does happen. It's happened to everyone on this screen. Well, maybe not Haley, but
yeah. Awesome. Yeah, Juan, I would love. I know I said we're gonna get really deep into it, and we are. But your story is just an awesome one. You know, I talked with you and Jose. You guys came on the podcast, and I learned how Expo, how instrumental it was really in your growth. And I would love to just get a quick recap of what I think it was 2018, but kind of what happened there, and you know, for people who are maybe thinking about coming, maybe they've even already come before. If you could maybe kind of highlight what changed and how it changed, they could approach this expo with that same open mind that you had.
Oh man, I mean, it's so excited to hear all these different things, because now it feels, well, I guess now because I can understand it better, I can see that's a little more organized. But it was organized when I went. I just didn't know, in my mind, wasn't organized. So when
didn't have the daily themes,
right? Exactly. So Jose and I, my business partner, went to Galveston in 2018. And we're a company that we were probably making, we were merging into a business together, and we were probably about $400,000. I mean, $400,000. And we started walking into these rooms. It was like $1 million this, $1 million that, and we're like, whoa, like this is not for us. Like we don't belong here. But overall, I think is going in with the mindset of like just trying to pick one thing if you can learn. And right now, this is so important. That's why I would thank you so much for having me here, is because we can explain that if you can go in there and just, do you have a need in your business? If you have one need, try to focus on that. So try to focus on one need that you have. The last 3 years for us, like I said, when you guys mentioned that you come back from the expo, and you do change your business. We change our business. I've been in business since 2005. So from 2018 to now, I've never in my wildest dreams thought that I would be doing what I'm doing now. And this goes back to the PCA. This goes back to Josh Abramson, the guy from Paying It Forward. So I'm just pleased. And we're bringing actually a few more guys from California. We invited a few guys, so they're actually going for the first time. Really great companies. And we actually been pushing them almost every day. Like, come on, man, you got to go. You got to go. You know how they decided to go? I showed them some of the pictures of the parties that we have, like the Sherwin Williams and all that. They're like, man, that's what sold them. So I'm like, man, it's just an incredible experience. I know Jason kept saying like, this is not a P&L. This is not a P&L. Some of us sometimes at that point, we don't even know what a P&L is, right? I didn't know. But it is true. It's a very small investment. That if you do, and if it doesn't work out for you, fine. You took a nice vacation, you went somewhere new, and that's that. But I'll tell anyone who's listening, if you go, you will not regret it.
I remember Jose, he really didn't want to come. He was really reticent. You guys talked about that a lot in the podcast a lot. How did you end up convincing him? What was that situation like?
The thing about us is it's been really great with our business because I'm the dreamer and I'm the one that's like, I'll find something. I'm like, we're going to do this. And then I go to him and he's like, you're crazy, man. Yes, I am. He goes, but you know what? Let's make it happen.
That's a good partnership.
Right.
It prevents you from going bankrupt necessarily. And you kind of keep pushing him forward.
You know what's great? Like, he does not know nothing about the business side. He goes like, let me innovate. Let me create. Let me do everything else. He goes, you take care of the bills. I'm like, perfect. So that's what we did. When we went to our first expo, like I said, he had just gone on his own. And he was struggling because he lost like 5 jobs. He had no money. I was broke. So I said, hey, you know what? Let's put it on a credit card. He goes, well, oh no, because he goes, we don't have any money. I'm like, well, you know what? Don't worry about it. We'll put it on a credit card. And we did. First, I think it was one of our first expenses on our American Express. But, he'll tell you. And I think, he's told you before, like, it's the best thing we've done so far in our business, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Someone commented, I agree. I've never met anyone that's attended a PCA Expo and said it wasn't worth it. It's only getting better every time with these titans taking the wheel. So it's very nice.
It is, because if you guys notice, I've took on this question. I've been going to different states the last year, and so many people out there have no clue. They want to better their business, but they just don't know how. And so that one of the reasons why I started doing what I'm doing is because there's a lot of Hispanic community out there who really would love to, but because of our background, because of our, how can I say this? Yeah, mainly our background. We don't look for ways. We just like whatever we have here, that's all. And so that's what we've been promoting. There are a lot of things out there that will help your business. And Spanish, of course, for when we have the language barrier.
Yeah. And you said that you went in and you focused on one thing, because obviously the whole idea behind this 2-episode series was that people get overwhelmed a little bit and it can become paralysis by analysis. So we wanted to break that down. But you went into it with one thing that you wanted to achieve. What was that one thing? And what would you recommend? How would you recommend other people thinking about attending kind of select their one thing?
So, last year, basically what we did is we were having issues with the shortage of manpower, the year before, and we had too many guys and it just wasn't working. So last year when we went to Florida, to Orlando, we were with the mindset of finding more about doing soft contracting. And that's what we focused on the whole time. Of course, everything else, but we were focused on that. Now we came back this whole year. We have 2 new subs. Our model is probably about almost 40% of our work is into subs now. And that's from just picking one thing out of the PCA, and that's what we focus on. And we've got a lot of good insight that you will never get with the book or anything else. Just people telling you directly how it works for them.
So did you find when you said people telling you directly, did you find the networking, that talking with other contractors, that was almost maybe more beneficial to you than the sessions, or what do you mean by that?
Oh, yes. Okay. You guys talked about it here. You'll come up with you'll come up to someone and you'll start talking about just whatever random thing is. And then you start focusing into what you want to talk about. There are a lot of guys out there, like, I just don't want to mention names right now, but there are a lot of guys out there who really will sit there and tell you, okay, what are you doing so far? And like, oh, this is what I'm doing. It's like, why do you do that? And I'm like, well, because this is what I think. Why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? They'll recommend a book. They'll recommend something. And you're like, oh God, I never thought of that. And it's just that simple conversation that you just really click something in your mind. And you're like, oh God, I probably had this all along. I just needed that extra push or that personalized conversation,
Yeah. That's huge. I like that concept that you probably had it too all along. Like a lot of times, I don't think we're as far away from the success we want as we think that we are. We realize like it's a few tweaks. It's kind of okay, work on, not in the business. What does that really mean? Talking with people can kind of help you make that leap. They can show you what it means, and that it doesn't mean all of a sudden money doesn't matter to you, or you've made so much money you can just hire a bunch of people. It doesn't have to be this magical unicorn. They can actually show you how to make those transitions, these small tweaks that make huge leaps for your business growth.
That is correct.
Yeah. So I want to transition. Now it's the Maggie show. So we were talking about before we started.
Maggie, come on.
How Maggie's going to basically just run this thing. Because again, she's fully responsible for everything.
50%.
So 50%, she's 50%, 100%, 50% responsible. So she is going to, let's dive deeper into what's actually being covered. So let's start day by day. I know you said Wednesday, day one is going to be marketing. So let's actually talk about some of the breakout sessions, even the time slots. And if people have questions about what those sessions might entail, or okay, if I'm going into it focused on subcontracting, for example, and then there are 3 different options. I just want to give people a great way to kind of navigate how they're going to approach this expo, because again, it can be overwhelming. So maybe we can just go through the subject matter session by session, if that works for you.
Works for me. So
I'll see you guys in like 45 minutes.
Yeah. Oh man. So Wednesday, like we said, is marketing. If you've never been to Expo, every day starts with breakfast, which is the most important thing. And I'd like to just piggyback. That's what they teach kids, right? I want to piggyback on what Juan said too, which is, you'll see on the schedule a lot of downtime, meals, snack breaks, etc. And you need to just go into this knowing that that's really just an extension for more social time and more meeting people. Our first expo, we greatly failed at realizing that until halfway through. And we kind of stuck to ourselves, went back to our rooms during breaks. We didn't really realize the breadth of knowledge that's exchanged at that time. So go to everything, every meal, every break, all of it.
Especially the events, right?
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. I'll let you boys talk about it.
Friday is going to be the least productive day ever. It's only operations, right? Who needs to worry about all that?
I mean, we should have just made it marketing, and then they could just hire.
Yeah,
right, there you go.
I think we make the switch.
Do what?
I think we make the switch.
Just
I'm gonna have to be behaved on Thursday night.
Yeah. I know. I think Nick Slavic has the kickoff at like 9:00 Friday morning. I don't think he's very happy with me.
You had to put a ringer there, man. Give people a reason to get up.
He can never stop. He'll be fine.
He'll be fine. He's going to be fine. So Wednesday's marketing, we're going to kick off after breakfast. There will be an opening session. You'll get to hear from the PCA, kind of just kick off the event, learn more about what the PCA is doing. And then we break off into our first of 2 breakout sessions for the day. Each breakout session has 4 sessions in it. There's 4 different breakout rooms. So every time we go into breakouts, there's 4 options. The first option on Wednesday is going to be a panel discussion on brand awareness and social media. So we've got a cool panel with Zach Kenny, Garrett Martell, Corey Leister, and Austin Hauser. So super differentiated group of people and how they approach social media. If you follow Zach Kenny, his social media is very different than Corey Leister's, but both of them are using it very strategically to grow their companies and to target their ideal customers. So I'm excited to hear about that. There's a breakout session with Brandon Lewis about hitting 30% cash flow even during recession. And then a breakout with Tom Reber. Who doesn't like Tom Reber? He's going to talk about not wasting time on the wrong prospect. So making sure that you're getting the right people in your queue, in your marketing funnel. And then Bob Cusimano is going to talk about the PCA standards and how to use them in your contracts, particularly in commercial contracts, to avoid, or as it says, to save your bacon and avoid catastrophe.
I love it. So I just want to touch base real quick right here. So we have the day is marketing. So I guess there are 4. I was wrong. I thought there were 3 competitive slots per time. So there's actually 4 that you have to choose between. It's only an hour, so you kind of can't really, got to kind of commit to one.
Yeah.
So there's social media management, kind of what do you, if that's a big push, if it, like Juan said, if you want to pick a thing and you want to really, hey, I want to really focus on social media for my painting company next year, you should probably think about going to that. Cash flow. If you don't know your numbers, if you don't feel like your company's profitable enough, that's more obviously financial, but marketing and being able to charge higher revenue for your projects obviously plays into that. And then we have commercial contracts, and then pre-qualifying, right? What does it look like to pre-qualify to make sure you don't go meet with the wrong homeowners? Because the worst case scenario is you actually go out and conduct an estimate, don't land the job. Are you landing an unprofitable or bad job? That's worse than just not getting the lead. So all 4 of those things are very different. So you should be looking at this stuff as your painting company, and you should be evaluating each of these, and literally you should be circling it, right? I would print this out, and I would circle it, and I would have kind of a roadmap, or I would make a little roadmap, and knowing
the app will let you do that now.
Well, you can select it.
Yeah, that's what
Okay,
Haley
that's
said.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I gotta look into it.
that's amazing.
Like at Disney, it'll map out your rides for the day, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
What you don't want is you're there and you're 5 minutes before and you're trying to pick it, and then you got to try to find the room. Then you're 15 minutes late because you didn't figure out where the room was. You don't want that. Go into this. You're going to invest your time, your money, your resources coming to it. Make sure you map out your plan here.
Yeah, that's right. So then we finish marketing in the afternoon after we all eat lunch together. I love eating.
You seem to get most excited about this. So there's all that, but then there's lunch.
There's a buffet.
It's gonna rock your world.
You can go back for seconds.
Okay.
So the afternoon Wednesday, we have our Fix My Business commercial edition. So that's kind of the one thing that's not technically marketing, but that's okay. There's only so much we could fit in. And then the breakouts, the non-panel.
Oh, sorry. Not to interject, but while you're on the commercial topic, I really like that all the commercial events are highlighted in green. So it's really easy to get those off in the schedule.
Yes, good call. Yeah, there's.
And I'll throw up the link. I just threw up the link to the schedule here as well. So
thank you for noting that, Chris. Yeah, we really wanted to make a point that people could see, particularly those in commercial or interested in commercial, be able to highlight that. Or if you want nothing to do with it, stay away.
Stay away from green.
Yeah.
Far away. Stay away from green. Green means no go.
Green means go. Come on, Juan.
Yeah, right.
So the non-panel breakouts in the afternoon are getting recession proof. Brandon Vaughn from Conquer is going to talk about how to thrive during a recession. Jason Paris and Morgan Knox are going to do a panel on leveraging artificial intelligence, doing 10 times more with half the headache. And that is definitely a marketing heavy piece with what they're going to talk about in terms of automating systems, particularly customer communication, marketing language, all those pieces they're going to talk about. And that's literally all I know about AI. So I'm done. And then there's a marketing guy from Painter Marketing Professionals. What is that?
I think it's Painters Go Marketing or something.
Yeah, something like that.
God.
He's going to talk about
marketing.
He's going to talk about growth, but he's really probably just going to talk about marketing. So
yeah, probably. So yeah, don't go to that one. But I didn't realize how stacked my competition was on that time slot. That's no bueno. We got a commercial panel. We got Jason Paris. We got get recession proof. We gave 5 people come, but hopefully somebody comes.
We did put you in the smallest room. I'll make it look big.
You guys, yeah, you did.
No worries. We're gonna fill up your room, Brandon. We're gonna fill it up. All five of us will fit in there.
It's a standing room only, baby. I love it.
Man. Yep. And then we're going to end our afternoon with brain meld, which is our favorite thing where we all sit around at tables. I know we talked about this last time, but there's over 40 tables with individual topics and an expert at each table. So you will get to sit down. You will see the topics on each table. You'll get to pick a table, sit down, have conversation with your peers led by an expert. And then after about 15 minutes, a bell will ring and it'll be like speed dating. You'll stand up and you'll go to the next table, pick a topic, have a seat, have conversation, and move on. it's going to be a great time for you to get to know people. Make sure you bring business cards, because that's a time people are tossing out. Oh, you use subs? I need to use subs. I need a sub agreement. Can you email it to me? Or, hey, you just started with this software. How are you liking it? I can't quite figure out how to use it. Here's my card. Let's talk. Those logistical communications.
Do we have, I know there was an email sent out about this. I don't know if there's anything on the site. Do we have anything that actually lists out all the different brain meld topics?
I mean, I have one.
Publicly? Do we have anything publicly available for that? No. It's a secret.
I mean, it's not a secret.
How many do we have?
Over 40.
How many topics? Over 40.
That's
and
why
they're
you
the
don't
same,
really want me
right?
to
For
list
every brain meld session.
Yeah. Yep. So we kept them the same. There's only 2 brain meld. There's 2 days that it happens. And there's multiple sessions within each day, right? So you have an hour, bounce around tables within the hour 4 times. Okay. So in theory, by the end of Expo, you should get to 8 tables.
Okay, so that's something you should look at.
Stay in the same table if you like to stay in the same table.
Or you can just stay at Chris Elliott's table the entire time.
Yeah, people do that because it's not the same information. So the brain meld, you're networking, kind of interacting with everyone who's at the table. It's not the same as a breakout session where it's kind of more you're passive, you're listening more to the information being presented to you. A brain meld is interactive. So that means if you really, let's say social media, you really want to focus on social media, and you're at the table and there's 8 other people who run painting companies. They're all talking about what they do for social media. You get some great ideas like, man, that's really great. And then they leave and you stay, and then another 8 more people come. You're probably going to get more ideas. And so it's not a waste. It's not redundant to stay at a table more than once, but you should go through those topics. I'll tell you from last year, it's a little chaotic. It's a big room, a bunch of little tables with a little thing in the middle with a sign that has it. So you should have kind of some sort of a game plan. Otherwise it can be a deer in headlights and you might miss some topics that are pretty important to you.
Yep.
Cool. Maggie, sorry. Keep going.
No, after that, Haley and I are going to go to the Women in Paint happy hour and have a cocktail.
All right.
Nice.
And then Haley and I are going to carpool to the Benjamin Moore event. Actually, it's never mind, it's there. We'll walk together.
Haley was going to drive you.
We're going to go arm in arm. She just doesn't know it yet.
Haley's nervous.
Do we know what the events are for after?
Nope, they have not announced the events. It will be, I know the Ben Moore event, well, it's published, so I can say that, right? It's at the hotel, which it normally is.
Yeah, usually.
And then Sherwin is off-site, but they don't ever tell us.
Yeah, they're the ones that put on a show.
And then some.
Yes, sir. Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Nothing beats the magicians. Am I right?
God. Was that in?
That was 28. That was Savannah.
It's Savannah, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That was crazy.
Chris, were you at that one?
Yes. Well, that was.
No, your first one was Phoenix, wasn't it?
My first one was in Galveston, Texas.
But Chris, your first one was Phoenix, right?
It was actually Galveston. So
it was Galveston.
I had to skip Savannah.
Gotcha.
I lived in Savannah for 5 years, so I was super disappointed. Yeah.
Beautiful city.
I didn't know there was
one comment here that was good. Great advice. Find out what would benefit you most. Attend the classes and brain meld tables that help with that, and talk with your influencers on who would be a great introduction to help you answer some of the questions you have. So that's cool. Talking about some more strategic networking too. If there are people you've listened to or you follow that you think would be able to help you or point you in the right direction, don't be afraid to ask. Everyone's there helping everyone. And then someone else brought up a good point. Those veterans that have attended these before, if you see someone standing alone that could be more introverted and anxious in these settings, go over and introduce yourself, break the ice a bit. You could change someone's life. So I think that applies to veterans, and I think it really applies to anyone, especially people coming for the first time. Painting is historically not the most collaborative of industries. It can be a bit jarring for people to come to this event. Maybe it's their first time they've come and sort of network with competitors of theirs. And that can be hard. So if you see people, I think are we doing like a special badge? Or what ended up being decided with that, with the new people?
Haley?
There will be like ribbons on the name tags. So first time attendees, I believe will have, I know they'll have a color.
There will be an identifier.
Yes.
You will be identified.
Mm-hmm.
In a non-menacing way.
Scarlet letter.
We're gonna point them out, right?
Scarlet letter. That's all.
You.
I'm gonna see if I can swap for one of those just so I get more attention.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. I like that.
That's funny.
Yeah, but no, people. I think we have ambassadors this year who will kind of be more proactive. Everyone's going to be proactive. You know, everyone's always networking and very friendly and social. I mean, it's an awesome. If you haven't come, just come. It's just awesome. But it's nothing to be afraid of. But we'll have kind of brand ambassadors that will be a little bit more proactively making sure that people are having a great first experience and making sure to experience all the benefits of Expo and the PCA in general. All right, Maggie, you finished one day.
I got to do more.
You got to do more.
Okay. Thursday's leadership. So as we said, the afternoon is the trade show. So it's going to be an afternoon full of walking around with the vendors, meeting that whole community, and then the Sherwin event is at night. So half the day is relaxing and fun. The morning after we eat breakfast, we will.
Breakfast.
Do you know what we're having for breakfast, by the way?
A buffet.
Oh, okay. Good.
It's just a lot of food.
You're gonna get so into details and stuff.
You can get seconds if you want to.
I will do smaller bets that there will be like bacon, sausage, eggs, and pancakes.
I love that we're drilling down more on the food than
that's where we're kind of.
You know this.
Hey, the food was awesome in Orlando. So
It was awesome in
Yes,
Orlando.
it was.
So good luck, Albuquerque. So anyways, Thursday morning, we've got 4 breakout sessions. Just like every other time, Tom Reber is going to kick off the morning with a large group presentation for everyone in the big ballroom. And then we'll go straight into brain meld. So that'll actually kick off Thursday morning brain meld conversation. So you can sip on your coffee and visit the last few rounds of tables that you kind of had mapped out.
So this is 45 minutes. So you basically got to pick 7.
Okay.
You're 7.
Yep.
7 topics.
Yeah. Oops. Who's
You got to be strategic here. I want to keep people focused.
That was Morgan's fault.
Yeah, that one was Morgan. 100%.
Just kidding. So after all that, we have our breakout sessions. Our panel that morning is very similar to the AI session on Wednesday, but this is actually going to be a panel discussion on artificial intelligence, robotics, automation, and offshoring. So this is going to go as simple as ways to automate your business all the way up to how we're using robotics and offshoring in our industry. So huge spectrum, awesome information, heavy hitting panel. I'm very excited. It's got Jason Paris leading it. So it's just going to be funny. Hopefully he doesn't talk about Excel all the time. Annie Newton, Ricky Houghton, Brandon Vaughn, Oscar Wimhurst, and Morgan Knox are on this panel.
Nice.
The 3 other breakouts, Benji Carlson from Breakthrough Academy is going to speak on scaling to 5 million. We've got Jason Phillips speaking on how he escaped contractor prison. So a little bit more about the leadership side. And then Landon Long is going to speak on business secession. The title is You've Just Died. What Happens Next? Not the most exciting,
Right.
but a super important component of owning a business is making sure that those bits and pieces are taken care of. And that's Thursday.
That's not bad.
And then there's some sort of trade show of trades.
Yep. Trade show. And then like a party. I don't know.
Some kind of party.
Oh, yeah. It does say where the event is, but I don't know that I'm allowed to say that.
So you'll have to go to that link that we put in there to figure out where the event is. Then the trade show will be from 11:30 to 4, and then the festivities, what everyone comes for.
Yeah.
With Sherwin-Williams will be at 6:30 to 10 to, TBD for many people. Someone here has a comment. I was a magician. Now you see it. Now you don't with the old fashions. I love old fashions. So in there.
I know who that was.
Yeah, who was it?
My man, Mr. Mole.
I was going to say Mole, right?
I love it.
I know for a fact that's who made that comment.
I love it.
Which I would like to argue that the relationship you have with him is a testament to this industry, because last year at the Sherwin-Williams event, what happened between you and Chris Mole?
Oh my gosh, which it was.
Where do I start?
What did he ask you?
Okay. So let me go a few years before that. So Arizona actually is during the Sherwin-Williams event is how I met Chris. We were at the rodeo.
At PCA.
Yeah. So yeah, he asked me to be the godfather of his child at this past one.
Wow.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
super.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All because they met at a rodeo that Sherwin hosted.
Yeah.
All because of PCA Expo. If that's not worth the $800 registration, I don't know what is.
Yeah. 100%.
You know, last time we kept hearing talk about Nick about, you know, lifelong friends and partnerships. It's very true. You know, we can pick up the phone and call someone. If we have an issue, we will call someone. Someone will call us and say, hey, Juan, this is what's going on. Have you dealt with this? We can take care of something really quick. And this is through networking, through PCA. So I got to tell you, if you're asking, should I go? Yes, go again. We keep telling you, just go. Like Nike says, just do it, right?
Do it.
Do it.
Yeah, that's a great point. You network and you learn all this stuff there, but you go home with these contacts because you're going to encounter problems, especially as you scale, that maybe you don't even know that you're going to have yet. You don't have them currently, but they're going to come up. And then you have sort of you make friends, right? You have kind of like the old fashioned Rolodex or whatnot. You have contacts with people that you've met that you know and you like and trust. And you say, man, you know, I remember he's at this point in his business, and we kind of touched on this briefly. I bet he might have an answer to this. You can call them. You have sort of an unofficial coaching network, like a mentorship community you can create for yourself. That's invaluable.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a super great point.
Super great. And you might get a godchild along the way. Who knows?
I was gonna say
that's kind of the pinnacle.
That's a long time commitment.
That's the pinnacle.
More responsibility. That's all I need.
Yeah. I'm a business owner. Why are you giving me more to worry about?
Well, I
don't think the networking can be understated. I mean, just before I jumped on here, I had an hour conversation with someone in my market who I met at Galveston, and we don't get to see each other all the time, but we speak often, and typically it ends up being an hour conversation. But again, it's just like those relationships. So there's obviously lessons to be learned from the sessions, especially if you go into it very intentional. I think prior to going to the expo, it's really important to do a little reflection to really identify what you hope to get out of it, and then be intentional while you're there. Because again, even if you do take the 1 to 2 to 3 things that you can take from it, and immediately go implement them into your business, or throughout the year, I think that's powerful in itself. But then when you layer in the relationships, I just called Matt, Maggie's husband, last week or the week prior about a commercial project, and get to see Maggie with our participation with the PCA, and it's just these relationships are incredible.
So someone asked, as an estimator, are there any do not miss sessions for an estimator?
Good question. I think definitely on day one, getting into the whole Tom Reber's talk about not wasting time on the wrong prospects.
Yeah,
I think that's something we talk about with our team all the time, pre-qualifying and ironing out that system. And then definitely, I think estimators should dig into some of this AI stuff. I think there's, you don't just have to be a business owner to want to utilize efficiency and programs that are out there, for sure. And then, man, as an estimator, really dig in at those brain melds to the unique topics, because there's all kinds of niche ones about softwares and customer. I think one of them is even as detailed as texting etiquette with customers. And, just really finding the ones that are problem points for you. Don't go to the ones you're good at. Nobody needs that. Go to the ones where you're struggling. That's why there's an expert at the table.
There you go.
Yeah. And this is a slight tangent, but I'm filming a whole podcast series with Jason Phillips, and he had this structure. Jason is extremely extremely structured and awesome with his advice. And so I think hopefully I didn't irritate him too much. We get along really well. I like Jason a lot. But one of the things he was saying with estimating, he's like, oh yeah, we try to make sure we provide the estimate at the kitchen table, not the porch. So then I took him down about a 15-minute rabbit hole there of where I don't think he meant to go, about like, oh wow, that's interesting. How do you get to the kitchen table and not do it at the porch? Okay, what's your statistic close rate between the kitchen table and the porch? And then we got into like 2 decision makers versus 1 decision maker. And all this is to say he does this stuff from an SOP for his business. But if your business, most painting company owners don't have the proficient set of SOPs that Jason Phillips does. So if you're an estimator and you're working for a company that doesn't have it 100% dialed in, something like that, you can learn just sitting down, hearing other people's process. Oh, I found my close rate really improves when I say, hey, I'm running these numbers. I'm going to go ahead and finish this up. You mind if we just go ahead and step inside and I'll finish running it all, finish calculating it all, and then I'll run you through it. Does that work for you? And then stepping inside, seeing your close rate go up a lot. So little tips and tricks and strategies like that you can get all kinds of stuff like that from just seeing how other people are doing it.
That's very true. That's exactly what helped us, And Jason Phillips, like I said, I've met him 3 years ago or so, and same thing, awesome guy, super smart. I've had quite a few conversations with him, and let me tell you, you will learn a lot from that guy. And he's just, like Nick says, he's a really great human being, man. Someone that you can just talk to for hours, always laughing, always happy, and very direct.
You're not going to miss him with his shirts.
Oh, right, yeah.
You will not miss this guy.
I love how she showed his sneaker collection the other day. I was like, yeah, I got to keep up now.
Are those loud shirts how he ended up in contractor prison?
Oh, that's a good point.
Dad jokes.
We'll have to ask him. Oh, well, Maggie.
I didn't know anything about the schedule. I just came for entertainment.
Hey, there we are.
This is an interesting question. Well, we have a brain meld table for running a business. This would be a Chris Mold deal here in an unpopulated area.
That is not a specific brain meld topic.
I bet there are topics that would apply or would.
Yeah, I was just gonna pull up the brain meld list. Hang on.
It's a great question. We should add that to the docket. That might be a good.
Well, who's gonna? Chris Mole will lead it. All right, got it, Chris Mole.
Crush that one. Yeah, that can be. No, unfortunately, Morgan. She nixed that one. We were gonna have it, but.
Man, Morgan.
Yeah. Come on, Morgan.
Yeah. Not here to defend.
Like the get a grip presentation would be a good one to address that.
Oh man, there's enough. And honestly, I think no matter how big or how small your town is, if you just iron out all the things that are going to be presented to you, and then if not, then you find the tall, dark-haired British guy who's loud and in charge in every room,
drinking the old fashions.
And you just dig into him because he's got all those answers. And I mean that. He's about to hit $1 million in a town of 1,300 people. So
it's amazing. Someone else said, I'll never miss another PCA Expo. It's life-changing. It hasn't only made me a better business owner and leader for my employee, but it's helped me be a better husband and father. I would love to get some follow-up on that because that is pretty awesome. Maggie, can we get into
Friday?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting state of affairs for everybody, but let's cover what it looks like.
Guess how the day starts.
Well, it's not going to actually start that way for most people.
Breakfast.
Hotel roof stuff.
Every time I'm going to see them breakfast, it's like, oh, where's Maggie at?
She'll be eating breakfast. You got to use the pancake. Soak up your indulgences the night before. So Friday is operations. So this is kind of, you've learned a bunch of stuff now. How do we get going out in the world? So Nick Slavic is going to kick us off in the morning as a big group with a little bit more about where we're going from here with the PCA and all of its initiatives, which are unbelievable for this year. Then we've got our 4 sessions. Our panel is on hiring and recruitment. And that is led by Nick Slavic. Man, I really screwed him over on Friday.
It's sort of a rough one.
You're going to present to everyone and then lead a panel after Sherwin's event. Awesome. So we've got Luke Reynolds, John Bryant, Kyle Campbell, Brandon Vaughn, and Brian Johnson on that panel. Just about the ins and outs of hiring and recruiting good people, both painters and leadership team. So not just hiring painters. Then we've got this couple from Nashville that runs a paint company. They're going to talk about demystifying commercial painting. So it's going to be kind of a beginning to end on what it actually takes to run a commercial job, how to get it, how to sell it, how to run it, and how to close it.
Matt and Maggie Cooper.
Cooper. Yeah. I think that's how you say it.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Then we've got a session from Madeline McRae on managing your team effectively. So management excellence techniques. Wow, that was hard to say. And then Mark Nelson from Olive Holdings is going to talk about subcontractors, how to recruit them, how to retain them, and how to grow your subcontractor base. Really then we break quickly, and then we hop back into another round of sessions. Our last panel session is going to be the Fix My Business Residential. Nice. Then we've got Brad Ellison from Ellison Painting talking about failing upwards. So it's his journey of accidentally discovering where he's supposed to be. Then we've got Chris Elliott, the man, the myth, the legend. He's going to talk on getting a grip on your business, upgrading your operating system using EOS, which is a traction system. I don't know how many times my husband and I say, well, Chris does ... Well, we should try what Chris does ...
Gold standard.
Gold standard for operating.
Come to the session.
Yes.
What?
Come to the session.
I will. It's not when I'm talking. I did that on purpose. 100%. And then we've got Eric from Pathfinder Marketing talking about the fast path to $1 million, the science of converting leads to customers. And then we close with the big old PCA Industry Awards Luncheon, which is another event that we skipped our first year. We got a flight home, wanted to get back to see the kids, thought the event was over after the last session, and realized that the luncheon is so fun to be able to see. They announced the awards for the year. There's a big just celebration of everything PCA's done and everything everyone is involved in. And we all give big hugs and kick it off for next year.
Love it. Someone did call you guys the hottest paint couple in the world.
I don't know. You've obviously never seen Emily Elliott.
Got some hot paint couples here. That was awesome, Maggie. Thank you for that. Thank you for that run through.
There it is.
That sounded painless.
Painless. Because we've been looking at it upside down and sideways and backwards for 6 months.
I have a special request. Can I have a Bloody Mary bar at my session?
Ooh.
For you or for your participants?
I mean, both. It's Friday morning. Well, I guess it's Friday.
Take the hair off the dog.
There, Marcia, right now.
I'm just trying to get competitive group to compete against. So, trying to get.
I think every single one's competitive.
Yeah.
They're all pretty brutal. Yeah. 4 at one time makes it stiff.
Yes, there were definitely some limitations with the rooms and such, because we wanted to pack people. It was either put rooms together or break them up and have them even smaller. So we opted for.
I think if offering too much value is our biggest problem with the expo, I think we're doing okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
That's the leader of the marketing team right there.
There you go.
All right. So if anyone else has any other questions, go through it. I'm going to do. So I'm going to do a little plug here. I'm just going to do it. So I've launched a book, Painting Millions. I didn't really launch. I launched it, but it's not actually my book. It's a collection. It's an anthology of the second season of the Painter Marketing Mastermind podcast. So it's actually Juan's book and Maggie's book and Chris's book and about 31 other people's book, Jose's book, Matt's book as well. So this is the book. It's actually an Amazon #1 bestseller in contracting and #2 for SEO. So that's kind of wild and much appreciated by people who went out and bought it. But we will be giving away 5 of these. So I'm going to be giving some there as well. That's kind of its own thing. But for the next 5 people who register for Expo, who haven't already registered, if you have, I'm going to know. coordinate with Expo a lot and PCA. But if you haven't registered and you register, email me, Brandon@paintermarketingpros.com. Let me know you heard this. You just registered, and I'm going to get you a book. These books are $50. It's a 500-page book. It's a pretty. I borrowed it. If anyone knows Tim Ferriss, he has a book, Tools of Titans. It's this anthology of all these interviews that he's had. I think it's like an 800-page book. I have it. It's on my bookshelf. I love it, and that's where this idea came from. It's just golden advice throughout a year from over 40 interviews with painting company owners. We consolidate and put it into a book. So if you register for Expo and you email me and I check and you actually did register after the time you heard this, then you're going to get a book at Expo. So shameless plug, shameless bribe to you to come to Expo. Do any of you guys want to offer any other thoughts, advice, anything else you want to say about this year's Expo? I know one thing we didn't touch on, which I kind of think we should maybe, is this idea of focus groups. So I don't think it was there last year. It's been there kind of historically. What is that, Maggie, the focus group? You don't know.
What is that, Haley?
So the focus group is another opportunity for vendors to present a specific topic. So different than the brain melds in the sense that it's more of like a targeted group. And then the vendors can present their topic to like the audience that they're looking for. Primarily, my understanding is that these will be promoted during the trade show, and it's kind of like an opportunity for all the exhibitors to be able to follow up with people that are interested.
Cool.
Nice.
Cool. So yeah, that is a new thing. So there's a lot going on. This year's Expo is going to be absolutely incredible. I've never been to New Mexico, so I'm very excited for that as well. Anyone else want to add anything before we wrap this up? I think this has been really good.
Well, I actually want to say something real quick. As I mentioned in the beginning, I have been really trying to advocate more for our Hispanic community. I do understand how powerful it is and how big it is, the force in our industry. So I always want to tell my Hispanic community out there, come out there. It is hard. I know it's our culture. It's so many different things, but expose yourself to the Expo, to other people, to other businesses. And I think you will really, really enjoy what comes out of it, or at least learn something new that I can tell my boys out there.
Awesome.
I love it. All right, guys. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Maggie, Juan, Haley, Chris. Thank you guys for coming on. Really appreciate it.
You guys are awesome.
See you guys all.
See you guys soon.
See ya.
Bye.